The Hemp Wizard signature series artists are Walking Corpse Syndrome, So High, Black Sasquatch, Fester, You can give your beard the magic touch by going to hempwizard.net today and rock out with your... Just kidding.
Get ready! Get ready! Get ready! Welcome to the Hot Rocket Sports Studios and another edition of the weekly video recap. March 31st.
You piece of shit.
And that's my cue to start the show. Welcome to another edition of the Hot Rocket Sports Show, live from high atop Hard Rocket Sports Studios in beautiful scenic Monroe, New Jersey. We are your 2-hour, not 3 anymore, no, a 2-hour weekly get-together where we bring you all the biggest news from around the world of hard rock, heavy metal, across the wide world of sports. And guys, welcome to Thursday night, May the 16th in the year of our good Lord, 2024. And I hope you guys have had a great week. I would say I had a decent week. But it's we're getting to summer. I'm going outside in the mornings and I'm not freezing anymore. We are getting a lot of rain and a lot of overcast, but it's warm and sunny in Florida, which hopefully someday I will really get to enjoy. And in the meantime, this is a wonderful time. I have to tell you, I feel like every night for the last 2 weeks, I've watched either a Knick or a Ranger game, win or loss. I've got it. We got the Yankees playing great baseball right now. There, I believe. I don't know if they won today or not. I believe they did. If they won today, I believe they're 30 and 14. They are 16 games over 500. I'll have to check that if they won today. But we got all of that, and the football season, like we talked about on the NFL draft, has officially started, and now the schedules are out, and this is the fun part. Now you're getting Vegas is putting out the lines, how many games teams will win. And we're going to go through the schedules for our two local teams. I have them both right here. We'll talk about some of the streaming platforms who are completely taking over what's going on out there. And there's more and more games and the traps that they're going to fall into. I'll talk to Jeff about, what if Netflix gets a game, middle of Christmas Day, which I think it's Netflix getting those games, and it's two bullshit teams. Like, are people going to can it be flexed? There's a lot of craziness. But we got football tonight. We got the Rangers on the screen. Big game tonight in Carolina. They're up 3-2, but they've lost the last 2 games, and they got their butts whipped the other night. So to me, it's a big game for the Rangers. They're in Carolina. This is a tough game to win. I would not be shocked. I said this series would go 6 games. I'm right on it. I think the Rangers come out with a purpose tonight, and I believe the Rangers go home. They got the best player on the ice in Shesterkin, and I'm looking forward to watching this game as I do the show. And big win for the Knicks the other night off a complete embarrassment last weekend. The Knicks came back in Indiana and whipped the Pacers. I think it was 1991, I think it was. A complete embarrassment for them. So good job by the Knicks coming back. It's a really fun series. You know, this is a fun New York Knicks team. They play their asses off. Most of these guys play the full 40 minutes, 48 minutes. This is a good basketball team and a lot of fun, and this has been a good playoffs for New York. Hopefully, both of these teams get past. The Rangers win tonight, the Knicks win tomorrow, and we get this into getting closer to getting into June. And if we get into June, we're talking about Stanley Cup and the NBA Finals. So let's get the win tonight. Let's get a win tomorrow night for the Knicks, and then we'll start talking about June. But for now, we got great Yankee baseball. We got two good playoff series for our Knicks and the Rangers, and we got the NFL schedule and some crazy stuff. There's a lot of Giant talk right now. There's some Jet stuff, so we're gonna get to all of that. I want to talk about Mayor Adams. Right, man is a funny character. I'll tell you why. We'll talk a little about the Tyson Paul fight, which is coming up in July on Netflix. So hopefully we got 2 hours of fill time. My dad won't be on tonight; he's busy with a meeting, but there is somebody else who's going to be coming on, and that's my buddy of 40 plus years, the bass player for the Hard Rock and Sports Show band when it's out there. Also the bass player for 25 Mission and the Remorons, and my best bud for 40 years, Mr. Jeff. He's ripping on the Broncos tonight, Towinski.
Oh, I never took that down. I was going to write something else, but I couldn't be bothered. But the important thing about a sports franchise,
which is
having strength.
All right.
Team has to have strength. It has to show strength in order to win, in order to be taken seriously.
Okay.
The most important thing is that when a team sets foot on the field, it shows that strength.
Okay.
It has to show. It has to reflect on the uniform that the team is coming out in.
Here we go. Listen.
It can't look like the cover of fucking Wometco Bowl. You know what I'm saying? It just.
I will completely agree with you. I cannot defend it. These are one of the worst uniforms I've ever. I'll see if I can get it on the screen. You want to see it on the screen so you can really rip into it?
Yeah. You want to know something? I'm going to tell you something you ain't going to believe.
Go ahead.
I don't think it's a bad uniform.
Oh, my God.
I swear to God, I don't think it's a bad uniform. I think what the problem is you're used to seeing that uniform in black and white because they didn't have color cameras back then. And it must have looked really bad back then. And I'd imagine
I'll tell you what this looks like.
Canvas too. Those uniforms.
Right, let me tell you, when I put it on the screen, we can talk about what it looks like. And let's see. Okay, I'll blow it up for you a little bit. This looks like they're wearing Montreal Canadian jerseys.
Yeah.
It's horrendous. I mean, let's say I can get past. I don't mind the helmet. I think the helmet's actually a fun helmet. All right. Let's say I get past the helmet. The jersey's horrendous. The pants are worse. And
it's the pants. The problem is with the pants. If that was white, you wouldn't have such a problem.
It has to be. Why would you go with that color pants?
I don't know, Tom. I don't know. I guess
now, I don't know. Maybe they said this is the 1933 jersey, the 1925 pants and socks. But what jersey? Now maybe the jersey color in 1925 kind of made up for those. Like maybe they went with that. But these jerseys don't belong with these pants.
How about this problem? Why are you wearing them? First of all, how you doing, Carrie?
Hey, Carrie's back. How are you, Carrie?
Why are you wearing a jersey from 1933, a 1938 helmet, and 2025 pants and socks on the 100th anniversary? Why not just wear stuff from 1924, the uniform from 1924, if there was one?
Well,
and if there wasn't, and 1925 was the first year, why have the 100th anniversary this year? Have it next year when that's.
I don't know the answer to part two. Part one was they're trying to incorporate the entire thing by so they're having a bobblehead with Frank Gifford right? And that's supposed to represent the championships from pre-Super Bowl. So they're not having one from each, even though he wasn't on all those championship teams, he's representing it.
Was he alive when they were on some of those teams?
Well, yeah, he was. He was on the 56 team. He was in the 60s teams. So, yes. So, but he's kind of representing all of them, even the early ones. I think there was one in 1927. He represents that period. And then to have an LT who's going to be another bobblehead because of the 2 Super Bowls he won. And then I believe Tom Coughlin is going to represent the other 2 Super Bowls with a bobblehead. They're doing something. They're doing a patch on the jersey. If you look at the patch, it represents like 100 years. It represents. There's something in there that corresponds to Yankee Stadium when they played at Yankee Stadium. So they're combining things, and I get it. It's a cute way to do it. Not have to do something each week for each different thing, but you can't combine this uniform. I mean, the jerseys are bad enough. They look like Montreal Canadian uniforms.
They do look like Montreal Canadian uniforms, but knowing that they're old uniforms, that doesn't bother me too much. I don't like the pants.
I don't like the pants.
I can't see brown, but I bet you just about every team had brown pants back then.
You're probably right. You're probably 100% right. But again, to me, when it comes to the uniform, the pants and the jersey have to match. The pants and the jersey have to match. So you got to figure it out. So now
the terminology earth tones wasn't invented back then when these uniforms were out.
No, they weren't. No, they weren't. So, but it's 100 years this year. I guess I thought the first year was 1925. So I don't know why you're doing it this year, not next year. I guess technically it is 100 years this year. If you started in 1925 and you count that season, this would probably be 100 years. But okay, let's say you're celebrating it this year, regardless. Well, and also your season ends in 2025. So there is
whatever they want to do. It is what it is. I like you. I'm not a super fan of them.
Right.
But I mean, listen, look at the Pittsburgh Steelers uniform that they wore, the B uniform.
Yeah, those are the worst.
I believe so. A lot of the old time uniforms were not very nice to look at. So,
and I get it. You want to celebrate that, and you want to. I'm all for it. Like I said, I don't even have a problem with the uniform. You're going to wear it one game, whatever it is, but you can't wear those pants with it. It just bothers me. But it does look. It's a big year, so the Giants are going to celebrate 100 years. Part of the celebration, which I want to bring up to you, because I am not a fan. I don't think I have ever watched more than an episode or 2 of Hard Knocks. I know that the Jets did it one season. It didn't go over really well, although Rex Ryan was a huge hit. He was a big TV star from it. The Jets loved it. I think they loved it. I don't know how you as a Jet fan. I don't remember. How did you feel about the Jets on Hard Knocks at the time?
It has a bad rap. So to me, listen, if you're busy in training camp and you have to take away from what you're there for and start doing some filming and interviews and whatever, I'm proud to say I never watched a second of Hard Knocks.
Right.
That's taken away from why you're there and what you're doing there.
Right.
The training camp for football is not very long as it is. It seems like it gets less and less every year.
Yep.
There's, a whole bunch of things. We could go all day and talk about stuff like that. I would rather see the business at hand. Is there a way for them to say, okay, we're going to be in Hard Knocks, we're going to do Hard Knocks, and we're going to mic the team or something like that, mic the field? Yeah, there is. But you want to know something? The average fan or the average person does not want to sit and listen to the huddle of a summer offense or anything.
I think what happens is the allure of it's gone out. I mean, when it first happened, it was probably very cool to see some of the behind the scenes stuff, like watching guys, bad or not, watching guys get cut, watching guys meet with the coaches, watching what happens in some of the meetings. So I think early on it was good, and I think if you're a fan of the team, you might buy into it a little bit. But for me as a football fan, and I'm a big football fan, I never watch it. It's never appealed to me, and I've always been grateful that the Giants aren't involved. Now the Giants are involved because it's the 100 years, but it's a little different, Jeff, this year for the Giants, because they're not filming the training camp. Normally this thing starts with training camp, and you see all the guys coming in and out. They have been filming since January, and this is basically happening from January to July. So basically, once training camp starts, this ends for the Giants, and they're showing you behind the scenes them setting up for the 100 year. They went through. They'll go through mini camps. They'll go through the draft, and you get to see behind the scenes of all of that, which I think is interesting. And for the Giants, it's not distracting because Mara has never wanted to do it because he didn't want the distraction. And you would agree, I think, this has to be a distraction of some sort because regardless if they say it's reality, we all know reality TV is set up, right?
Of course.
So
there's no reality to reality TV.
You're 100% right. So at the end of the day, you're waiting. Hold on, don't do that. Let's get the lighting right. Hold on, time out. Let's get this right. And now the Giants don't have to do that. This is all happening at this point where it's kind of meaningless. And when the season starts, they're into just playing football and getting themselves ready for a season. So having said that, I am against the Giants being part of Hard Knocks. I don't like the series. I think it's boring. You're never going to see the things you really want to see and hear the things you really want to hear. So at the end of the day, I just think you're getting a fluff piece. Will I watch it? I don't know. I don't have HBO, so I wouldn't go out of my way to watch it. If I found a way to watch it, I would. I mean, I'm assuming basically that that's the Giants, you would still have no interest in watching any of this if it was on.
It's it's not so much that I don't have any interest in watching it. I never really wanted to see it.
Yeah, I agree.
Because like you said, I understand from the first year, and every year they're going to look to do a little something different to make it more personable and everything else.
Yeah.
But it just isn't what I want to see. I don't care what happens in certain aspects. I don't watch much preseason football because it's not the most competitive looking football. It's not
me either. I'm with you.
Football. I would rather just wait till the game start and watch what counts, not what some kid trying to make it who was, bagging groceries and raking somebody's leaves just a couple weeks before to try to, and then he's trying to make his way into the NFL. I really don't want to see that. I don't care about that.
Yeah, see, I like to watch, and not so much that kind of stuff. I like to watch who's out there, who got cut, what the inner workings of the team. I'm fascinated by the behind the scenes stuff. I want to see the stuff that's behind the scenes, but you don't. So to me, most of the stuff that you're going to see in these things have been staged. And yeah, it has to be, Jeff, because let's say let's say on Hard Knocks, the coach, let's say it's Belichick. Belichick's going to bring in his third string tight end, and he's going to cut him. So what has to happen? They have to hold on a second, set up the shot, bring the cameras in, station one outside for him walking in, another one for him, another camera. It's all staged. If you were just putting cameras everywhere and letting things play out and basically, letting people think that there's nothing going on, but there's stuff going on, that would be interesting to me. But everything else I'm getting is staged reality. I got, for the most part, I have no interest in it. Like I said, so I'll pay attention because it's the Giants. I'll pay attention because it's something a little different, but I am not going to lose my brain over the Giants on Hard Knocks.
I don't know if I agree with everything you said about as far as the setups, only because, listen, imagine being told you're getting cut.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you have to go in there and then relive this scenario, or, okay, come in this way. All right, stay there. All right, now wait, get the other. Okay, come on in. How many times are they going to do that? And then you just got cut, or you're going to get cut. Are you, as the player, going to be that cooperative, knowing that you're about to get fired?
I don't know. It's a great question. That's a good question.
I just don't see that. I think that it's more a little bit, maybe a combination of both. That there is cameras in every angle so that they catch everything. Mm-hmm. The way that these cameras are now, they're maybe the size of a lipstick, that you could get a lot of different angles and everything. But then again, I never watched the show. But here's the big thing right now: when you watch the credits, it's going to say directed by and script.
Yeah.
So you tell me.
Yeah, listen, I get it. So again, uniforms are out. There's a lot of stuff this year. We're going to go through the schedules for both teams. The over and unders. The Jets have quite a high over and under. The Giants probably have a lower over and under than they did last year. We'll go through the schedules a little bit. We'll talk about now the streaming services getting even more involved. Jeff, it seems like now. One thing I wanted to discuss. First, let me start off with something that I forgot to start off with. Jeff, how was your week?
Oh, man. Long week. Thank God it's over.
A long work week or just a long week in general?
long work week, man. It's the Captain. So all I'm going to say is the Captain.
The Captain.
The Captain. CAP.
T-A-N. Oh, Captain.
That's
Okay.
all I can say.
All right. Listen, I got you. So Jeff, one thing. So now it looks like, we've had Christmas Day games and Christmas Eve games before, but they usually either fall on a Saturday or a Sunday or even quite possibly a Monday. So it would fall on a regular NFL scheduled day game. You know what I mean? Now we're getting Wednesday football this year on that. And Netflix has a 3-year deal, 2 games this year, 1 game next year, and 1 game in 25. So that means Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, the next 3 years, Christmases fall on, we're getting football. So, we're getting now in that week, you're going to get Saturday games, Sunday games, a Monday night game, a Wednesday night or a Thursday night game, another Thursday night game possible, and then a Friday night game possible. Jeff, at some point, is it too much? I love football. And here's the other part. What if that game on Christmas Day, and it's on Netflix, so if you don't have Netflix, you're going to pay for it. What if that game, and let's say you're Netflix, and you get, let's think of 2 bad teams. Let's think 2 boring teams.
Carolina.
So let's say,
let's see, who else can we make? Carolina and the Cardinals.
There you go. So you got 2 bad teams in bad markets, and you're Netflix, and you paid for this. What? I mean, at some point, I don't know how they survive that unless you're going to be able to let them flex games in and out of that schedule.
Well, I don't think they can do that because the way I was reading about the Jets schedule earlier, the Jets schedule was already determined. They have like 5 or 6 games, 6 games in prime time this year.
Yes, in the first 11 weeks, no less.
In here comes Christmas time, and you want to have a game on Christmas Day. Christmas Day, think about that.
Yeah.
Okay, you are affecting how many people?
I agree.
The teams, the people that work in the stadiums, parking lot attendants, everything, food handlers, everything. And now all of a sudden you're like, no, we're not going to do this game.
Right, but if you're Netflix, are you paying for 2025 and you get stuck with Carolina I'm sure the NFL is going to try. Let me see who this year's games are. Let's see what they schedule for this year.
I think the Texans were one of the games.
Let's see.
I forget. I just read it not too long ago. Too.
Yeah, I got it. I got it somewhere. Hold on. Okay, so this year it's Kansas City travels to Pittsburgh. So theoretically, two big time NFL teams. Obviously, Kansas City's been great for the last few years. Pittsburgh's up in the air, right? So not too bad. But the second game is Ravens and the Texans. Now, I know the Ravens have been a decent team. The Texans are maybe an up-and-coming team, but that has the potential to be a very bad game on Christmas Day.
It could. And actually, I'll tell you the truth. I'm surprised.
Go ahead.
Kind of surprised that they didn't turn around and say, we're going to flex that because all we're going to do is announce that this year we're having 2 games on Christmas. Teams to be determined. Teams will be picked by week 4.
Okay.
Or something of that nature. Because let's say that you have a guy from Baltimore. Let's say Lamar Jackson is running the ball every play. And now by that time, Christmas, he has 1,700 yards rushing for the year because he's running the ball every play. Okay. Yeah. Now we're going to put him on because it's going to be, he's going after an NFL record, never mind a quarterback record. He already has that. He's going in after an NFL record for yards rushing. So we'll put that on as opposed to, Carolina versus anybody. I'm not even just going to say the Cardinals, Carolina versus anybody or any one of those teams that just like, who the fuck wants to watch this?
Yeah.
So I think it's a risk to announce playing these games as of now. Look at the Jets last year. Aaron Rodgers lasted 4 plays. Could you imagine if they said the Jets are going to be playing and now here they come versus the Kansas City Chiefs and there's Zach Wilson trotting out on the field? Like, I don't want to watch that. Right,
but see, now there's one thing where you're saying, hey, I'm going to put a game on Fox or NBC or even ESPN. Most people, I would think, in their cable systems have ESPN. I think you can put that game on and people watch. But now you're asking people to go to Peacock. You're asking people to go to Netflix and watch these games that theoretically on Christmas Day could be a terrible game. And now you have people who are going to have to pay for packages. And I read something, I heard it yesterday, that if you don't have these streaming services and you buy all the streaming services you need to watch NFL football this year, right? So you buy the package now and you have to have it for the whole season for the NFL in order to get Peacock games and Netflix games and Amazon Prime games. It would cost you $890 for the year to own all the streaming services. That doesn't count your cable bill for just, to do the regular Fox and all that stuff.
Through the internet.
Correct. I'm saying is, so if you wanted to hook up, Hulu and all that stuff, whatever you need to watch NFL football this year, besides your cable bill, it would cost you $800, $800 and change, almost $900.
It's insane. It's absolutely insane. But you know something, think of this too. How many people? Now, I'm sure there may be some, but there's not many, but there's going to be some. How many people maybe these stations are counting on, Grandpa, what does he love to do? He loves to sit and watch football. And his favorite team, he's not going to see all the games because of this. How many people may buy Grandpa a subscription?
Oh, absolutely. Sure.
To that, the NFL Network. Maybe you get Junior. He's going to enter high school. He's big into football now. You get him his own subscription for NFL, the NFL.com. Because let's face it, we don't have a 13-inch black and white TV in his fucking room. He's probably got at least a 32-inch, if not bigger. So they're going to make some money off of it. Although I do understand what you're saying, and that's the sad part of it, man.
Sure,
it is a money grab. You're damn right.
Oh, it absolutely is. And here's what's going to happen. So now, like, I have Netflix. You don't have Netflix. Let's say you say, "Hey, Tom, I want to watch the Tyson fight." All right, Jeff. Here's my login for information. You can watch Netflix too. They've already started cracking down on this. I think they've limited how many people could be on the same account. At some point, you're only going to be able to log on to one TV at a time to watch it, because they're going to think about how much more money they get if I have Peacock. Now I get Peacock and some of these channels through my cable system because I pay for cable, so I get some of them for free. Some of them I have to pay for, and I think that's the next thing is going to be forcing people to not share accounts. Where like I have it, you and I are split $15 a month or $20 a month, whatever it costs. Some of them are very much cheaper. It's just getting to the point where they're challenging you. Now think about it. I have to have Peacock for 2 games a year, and what's the guarantee that those are going to be games that I'm going to care about?
I agree. I totally agree. Totally agree. But you want to know something? Just like everything else that happens in life, they can do whatever they want to do. Somebody's going to figure out a way to beat it somehow, some way.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I agree with everything you say.
Yeah.
Somewhere along the line, somebody's going to turn around and say, well, you know what? We could do this with the TV, and you could get this, and this. So there's always going to be a way. They're never going to stop it completely, because somebody will always find a way.
Sure.
To do what has to be done. And that's just how it is, man.
No, you're 100% right. I mean, that's just today's NFL. I mean, listen, I'm looking at it now. They're paying Jared Goff just got a extension.
200-something million, right? 220 million or something.
4 years, $212 million. Jeff, Jared Goff just got a $50 million a year contract. Jared Goff has definitely turned his career around. He's probably one of the better quarterbacks in the league. I mean, we've had him on our fantasy team, and we've watched him grow a little bit with the Detroit Lions. Jeff, think about this. He's making $50 million a year.
Yeah, I know. And this goes back to when me and you have talked about certain things, and I've told you simply this. When you have a guy, right, as a quarterback, and you're like, but who wants to pay this guy $50 million a year? You're right. This year, it's $50 million a year.
Yeah.
Okay. But in 2 years, you sign him to a 5-year deal. In 2 years, when everybody else is making $60 million a year, now your guy looks like a bargain basement. Just like CJ Mosley, the year of the pandemic, when they first signed him, they were like they overpaid for him. The guy's performed every year since he's been on the Jets. Now his salary is below average. And they shaved some off.
Yeah.
So I mean, there comes times when you pay up front, or you backload the deal and you pay on the back end, and that's how you end up having money problems with your salary cap. But there's always going to be some kind of finagling with that. Jared Goff, if he gets the Lions to the Super Bowl and wins the Super Bowl, I can promise you the people in Detroit couldn't give a shit less if they paid him $150 million.
100% right. And you know what? If we probably put a list together, he would probably easily be in the top 10 quarterbacks, and he could possibly think about creeping him into the top 5 right now. He's played that well. I'm not saying he's a great quarterback. I'm just saying when you put him out there in the landscape of QBs, but $50 million, I would never even. A couple years ago, he was being run out of football. He was almost a bust.
You're right. You're right. I remember him being sent to Detroit just as a placeholder for the time.
Yeah.
Okay? And now here he is on his second contract with Detroit. I'm glad they signed him. I always thought he had that one bad year with the Rams, and they got rid of him. They gave up on him. They got rid of him.
Yeah.
The guy went to a Super Bowl, man.
Yeah.
And he had a chance of winning. If I remember, what was the final? Do you remember what the final score was of that Super Bowl? It was close, wasn't it?
It was close. Yeah, it was not a blowout. Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, he kept. I remember it was. Some people would say a defensive struggle. I just think the offensive shit the bed that day. But it was a close game throughout the whole thing, and it is what it is. But look, why not? You can't just give up on somebody. Now here he is making $50 million a year. It's insane.
No, you're 100% right, and it's crazy, but that's why you're paying. That's why they're grabbing every neck. Now, listen, the NFL's making money; they're just trying to make more money, and I get it. And here's the thing: as long as guys like us are watching or paying for these streaming services or watching these games, the NFL will keep doing it. And again, I believe that at some point you will have to pay a yearly subscription to watch NFL football, whether it's an entire package. I mean, you can do it now and get every game. To me, I like what's on Saturdays. I like what's on Sundays on regular TV, and I'm okay with that. But I believe someday you will have to pay to watch your Jets every week. You will have to pay for it because that's just where it's headed. It's too much. There's too much money involved, and it might not be our lifetime. It may be much later on. But at some point,
I think you're right, Tom. I think you're going to see it. I understand exactly what you say. I agree with you with what you say. But you want to know something? There's other things that are a little bit more important in life than for me to spend
sure,
$20, $30 a month to watch the New York Jets play.
Right.
Okay? Right now, if I wanted to spend that kind of money, I could. I'm sure you can too. We all can, okay? But you know what? One day, maybe when we're your parents' age, and your income is kind of limited or fixed,
it's
going to be a different situation because let's face it, everything else around us will end up going up.
Sure.
But you just don't know where your life is going to be in that time. So you can't say that, this is great. I'm just going to keep paying a monthly subscription for TV. I think it's $180 a month for 2 TVs with cable and a router.
Right.
Whatever you want to call it for the internet.
Yeah.
I remember my cable bill 20 years ago was about $54 a month. And I'm like, I'm paying $50 a month to watch TV.
Yeah.
Why the fuck am I paying $50 a month to watch TV?
Yeah.
Yeah. And now why? Because it does certain things like, you could fast forward. You can't fast forward, but you could rewind a live show.
Yeah.
I was able to do that when I had a VCR. I would just, time shit and watch it nonstop.
Absolutely. Again, listen, it's the wave of the future. They're making money. They're fun. And, you have streaming services all, and it's not like it's on one streaming service where you say, all right, I pay one thing and I can watch all my football games and you live with it. You got to pay for Peacock. You got to pay for Netflix. You got to pay for Prime, right? You have to pay for, there's another one. There's another one they're doing this year, but you're paying for 3 or 4 different streaming services, not counting cable, just to watch your NFL games. So listen, I get it. They're maniacs like Matt Salici, who no matter what, he'll unload his bank account. He'd turn tricks on Father Capodanno if he had to get money to pay to watch football, and that's what's going to happen. And right now, it's the biggest thing out there, and they're going to take advantage of it. It's just, I wonder, from my point of view at this moment, I wonder how Netflix or Amazon Prime, one of those things that pay all this money, and then they get the Arizona Cardinals, Carolina Panthers. They're each team is 3-10 or 3-12. On a Christmas Eve night. Who's watching?
Who's going? Never mind who's watching. Who's going to go to the game?
Yeah. Well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. So I mean, it's a little on the rough side. But listen, until people stop using it or going to them, they'll keep charging. And we got a lot to talk about tonight. So we'll get deep into the Giants schedule, the Jets schedule, some of the bigger NFL games that are coming up. It's football season, folks. Whether you believe it or not, the NFL season has officially started a couple of weeks back. And we're going to talk about it here on the Hard Rocket Sports Show. That's what we do, and that's how we do it. I do want to get a couple other things in, so we'll talk about a couple of things right now. Real quick, your mayor, Mayor Adams, said a funny thing today. Now, I don't think this was yesterday. I don't think he was trying to be funny, but it was funny. You had to have heard it. And when I say it, if you haven't, I think you'll get a kick out of it. So they were talking about a shortage of lifeguards. Did you hear this one?
Well, first of all, I work for the park department. There is a shortage of lifeguards every single year.
All right. So he was talking about a shortage of lifeguards. Did you hear his comments? Oh, no. Jeff, this is great. So he said, well, we have these people who've basically been forced on us who are all great swimmers.
Oh, boy.
So they swam across the border, so they're all great swimmers. So we have an abundance of people who could be lifeguards. I said, that it may be the funniest non-funny thing I have ever heard in my entire life. Wow. So basically you're saying all the Mexican wetbacks who swam across the border, we could make them lifeguards so they can earn their keep. I thought that was fucking great. That was a classic line.
Well, what's sad is that nobody's calling for his head.
No, you're right. Right. You think about that, like 2-3 years ago with the whole BLM thing, people would have been calling for his ouster. You're basically saying, you're stereotyping Mexicans or people, all these migrants as being able to swim. So somebody else that today said, he's wrong. When was the last time you saw an Olympic swimmer from Mexico or Guatemala?
I can't say that I have.
Exactly. Because that's not there.
Well, in all fairness, some of the waters in some of those other places are filled with, poisonous snakes, fish that eat people, stuff like that. So, practicing could be an issue.
It is true. Or you can get faster when the guy behind you is shooting at you.
Well, yeah, but,
that'll make you a better swimmer, I think.
Look, I don't know. I think the guy's a fucking idiot.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Every year I could keep you entertained with lifeguard stories all the time. Believe me when I tell you, I've heard and seen some good ones over the years. Unbelievable shit. It's unbelievable what we have to watch us in the ocean. Never mind the pool. The pool. If anybody drowns in a city pool, they don't know how to stand up right. Because the pool's about 3
like 3 feet. I was gonna say, what, like 3 feet?
3 feet 3 inches.
Jesus Christ!
So unless you're an infant, which then you shouldn't be in the pool at that point in time by yourself anyway. If you find yourself, bad way, just stand up, get off your knees, stand up, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Tom, it's fucked up, man. It's fucked up. Fucked up.
It is. It is.
Sometimes I kind of wish that Russia starts World War III and it just ends tomorrow. You really do, because every day is a new classic, and it's just like, when does it stop? And who comes up and says, "That's it, we're hitting the reset button"? I don't really give a fuck. It's just until that happens, we're in trouble.
Yeah, you ain't not getting any better, my friend. It's not getting any better. But
I got something for you.
What? Yeah.
So, I found something today, and when the time is right, we'll do it.
Okay.
artists that have never won a Grammy before.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the list, and I know what I'm going to do with this list because
Okay.
I'm going to ask you. I'm going to did they or didn't they? Because there are some people on this list that I'm like, did they or didn't they? And I can't believe that the list I'm looking at of people like wow.
Wow, that's an interesting. That's an interesting little game there. That's interesting.
It's when I tell you when you hear the names, I'm looking at it right now. When I say the names,
what's more interesting, the people who have or the people who haven't?
Well, no. Like here, I'll give you. You want to do it real quick? There's only about 12 names on the list.
That's fine. We got all night. Go for it.
Okay, Jimi Hendrix. Has he ever won a Grammy? Yes or no?
I would say no.
Never won a Grammy. Correct.
Yeah, I would say no.
Ready for this one?
Go ahead.
All right, this is a hard one. All right, I know which way you're going to go with this one, but the Queen, have they won a Grammy or not?
Oh, wow. I would say the answer is yes.
They have never won a Grammy.
Wow, that's interesting. See, they had a few big hits. I would have figured they would have won a Grammy.
Wait. Okay, next one up. You like the Beach Boys? You like that summertime music?
Sure,
Boys?
why not? Sure.
Right. They've had countless hits, right?
Yep.
They got to have a Grammy in there someplace, no?
Oh, absolutely.
Definitely not.
Come on, the Beach Boys have never won a Grammy?
Beach Boys have never won a Grammy.
Wow, that is I gotta tell you, that is more interesting than the last one. Than Queen. I would have absolutely thought they would have won like a lifetime achievement one. Even just
maybe they have something like that in their closet. I don't know, but they definitely don't have a Grammy.
Wow.
Jethro Tull.
I would say no. If you're going by the rest of the world, I would say no.
Has a Grammy and beat out Metallica in 1988 for Best Metal Grammy.
I remember that now. I do remember that was the big thing that they won a Grammy for being the best heavy metal band. Yes, I remember that now, but I forgot that. That is yeah, okay, go ahead.
Okay. Next, Diana Ross from the Supremes, her solo career.
Oh, I would say yes. I would say yes.
Never won a Grammy.
Diana Ross never won a Grammy?
Diana Ross, no Grammy.
Interesting. Wow, okay.
The Who. Has The Who ever won a Grammy? Pete Townsend, Roger Daltrey, John Entwistle, and Keith Moon, some of the most iconic rock and roll music from the 60s, the wave of British music coming over from the early to mid 60s.
Tommy, the whole
Quadrophenia.
Yeah. I would say, I mean, my thought would be yes, but your tone makes me feel like it's a no.
Definitely not.
Wow, they didn't win one either, huh?
No, never won a Grammy.
Wow.
Okay, now we're going to go back a little ways. I'm going to take you back a little ways to the very beginnings of rock and roll.
Wow.
Okay. Buddy Holly. What do you think of him? What do you think of Buddy Holly? He was innovative. He definitely, inspired some people.
Mm-hmm.
You think he has it? Well, he doesn't even have a house anymore. I think. Does he have anything in his ashtray?
I would say that there is no Grammy for Buddy Holly.
No Grammy for Buddy Holly, man.
Yeah, it was only one big album, I think, at that point, right before he died. He only did like one major thing before he died. So
I don't know, but I know that he definitely touched a lot of people.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay.
Sure.
All right, the next one. Okay, I'm gonna Journey, Steve Perry and Company, countless hits.
Yeah,
countless hits, countless albums. God only know gold, platinum, whatever. Okay, I'm sure they've been up on a platform someplace getting an award. No.
Yeah, I would think they definitely have. In the '80s, they were huge.
Yeah, nah.
Wow,
they didn't get it.
Wow, these bands didn't win one. Oh, that's crazy.
Now the next two.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to put them together only because we don't know much about them, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Patti Smythe and Bob Marley. Did either one of these two win a Grammy? Now, Patti Smythe had Because the Night and a couple other songs in the maybe late 70s, early 80s. And I mean, Bob Marley is famous for so many different things and a reggae legend.
Yeah.
You know, there has to be some hardware there, right?
I would say Patti Smythe was a no, but I would think Bob Marley was an absolute yes.
Well, listen, this interracial couple has won nothing between them.
Wow.
Yep.
Patty Smyth doesn't surprise me. It wouldn't have surprised me if she did. But Bob Marley not winning one, that absolutely surprises me, 100%.
Janis Joplin, whether it was Janis Joplin alone or Janis Joplin and the holding company, which was a band or a holder company, with some of the hits that she did have, a member of the 27 Club, you know, a big star in the 60s and early 70s. What are your thoughts? Like, successful career for her time here. She had to be recognized, right?
I would think so. I would have absolutely guessed yes on this one.
Definitely not.
Really? This is surprising, man. Holy cow.
Now, this one, I already know how you feel about these guys. Okay. But Guns N' Roses, Grammys, you know, that first album, Appetite for Destruction.
I was going to say that had to win best album of the year, no?
God, yeah, but it didn't.
That's shocking.
They did not win anything that bad.
Let me ask you a question. Can we look up the fact who won the Grammy that year? That came out. Would that come out? 87?
It came out anywhere from late 86 to 87. I got into it myself in 88.
Okay. What year did Appetite?
And we have a few more plus one.
Go for it. Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. One of my bands I like a lot nowadays, the Ramones. Okay. Did the Ramones ever win a Grammy?
I would say no.
No, that is correct. They did not. And that does not shock me.
No, it does not surprise me. No, that does not surprise me. I would have said at that time especially was a really relatively underground band, more localized than anything. But
then I'm going to put these two together to wrap this up, because then I have one more left, which just is a side note. Of the Doors and the Grateful Dead, did either of these two bands win a Grammy?
Okay. The Grateful Dead, and who was the other man?
The Doors.
The Dead, I would say absolutely no. The Doors would be a maybe in my book. I think they were more popular after he died. I would say the Dead, no. They were just, you know. So I would say no to both.
No, the Dead did not win a Grammy, and neither did the Doors. The Dead did have a bit of a resurgence.
Yeah.
In 86, 87, they put out an album, I believe it was called Touch of Grey. They had a couple videos for it off the album, and I actually like a couple songs off the album, but I only have a handful of Grateful Dead songs and on my phone, man. I'm sorry, I just can't. And then to wrap it up, you ready for this?
Go for it.
We said the artists, one more time real quick, the artists who have never won a Grammy: Jimi Hendrix, Queen, the Beach Boys, Diana Ross, The Who, Buddy Holly, Journey, Patti Smyth, Bob Marley, Janis Joplin, Guns N' Roses, the Ramones, the Doors, and the Grateful Dead. But Kanye West has 22 fucking Grammys.
Wow.
Tell me where the justice in that is.
Wow. So I looked up who won Grammys in 1987.
Yeah.
So do you know who got best rock vocal performance, female, Tina Turner.
Okay.
Best rock vocal performance, male, Robert Palmer for Addicted to Love.
Okay.
Here's one. Best rock performance by a duo or group vocals,
Hall & Oates.
Eurythmics.
Okay.
Best rock instrumental performance, Art of Noise and Dwayne Eddy for Peter Gunn.
Gunn. Wow.
Yeah. Okay, so now let's go back up to best music video would have been Dire Straits for Brothers in Arms. So here are the award winners for Record of the Year: Higher Love by Steve Winwood, Sledgehammer by Peter Gabriel, Whitney Houston's Greatest Love of All, Robert Palmer, Addicted to Love, and That's What Friends Are For by Dionne Warwick and Friends, Elton John, Gladys Knight, Stevie Wonder, Burt Bacharach, Carol Bayer Sager. Album of the Year: Graceland by Paul Simon. Song of the Year: That's What Friends Are For. And Best New Artist, Jeff, Bruce Hornsby and The Range.
Who have kind of, I don't know, disappeared. I thought they were already an established band when they came out.
Yeah, so nothing. I mean, those are your best. I don't even know if there was a metal category that year. Hold on, let me see if I went to rock. I didn't see if there was a metal. Curious if there was a metal. Nope. Spoken word. There was no metal category that I could see.
Really?
Yeah, I don't see it. If there was, it's not listed here. And they give me gospel, folk, country, composing, comedy, classical, children's, blues. Yeah, there is no metal that I could see in here. I'm gonna try 1988 just for the hell of it. I want to see who, because the album came out in 87. I don't know if they gave it to him in 88. So let's take a fast look here, because now I'm intrigued. I'm not a huge Guns N' Roses fan, so don't get me wrong, but I do think that album should have won a Grammy. Okay,
I agree.
Okay,
that album had there's not a. I like the album. There's not a bad song on it. I'm just not a huge Guns N' Roses fan.
Yeah, neither do I. So, album of the year in 1988 was "The Joshua Tree" by U2.
Okay.
Somehow, record of the year is still Paul Simon's "Graceland." I don't know how that won.
You know, that was one of those albums, Graceland. I remember when that was out. That album was like hanging around for a while.
Best new artist was Jody Watley.
Okay.
I'm going right to rock. Best rock vocal performance solo, "Tunnel of Love" by Bruce Springsteen. Best rock performance by a duo or group with vocals is "The Joshua Tree" by U2. And best rock instrumental performance by an orchestra group or soloist, "Jazz from Hell" by Frank Zappa.
I'm going to real quick. I just pulled up the Graceland album,
Okay.
which was released in 1986. The name of some of these albums that maybe, I don't know. The Boy in the Bubble, I don't remember that song. The song Graceland, I remember. I'm pretty sure. I Know What I Know, don't know it. Gumboots, don't know it. Diamonds on the Soles, I guess on the soles of her feet. I've heard that one.
Mm-hmm.
You Could Call Me Al, I heard that one.
That's one of my. That's a favorite song of mine. I love that song, but not a Grammy thing. But go ahead.
Under African Skies, I don't know it. Homeless, don't know it. Crazy Love Volume 2, don't know it. That Was Your Mother, and All Around the World, or I don't know what the rest of it is. I know 2 or 3 songs
Okay.
off of that album. I am not a big Paul Simon fan. I may have a handful of his stuff in my phone, but you know, I don't know, man. Nothing that I'm like, wow, I'm glad I got it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right. So 1990 was the first year metal had a Grammy category.
No.
Yes. I'm
Really?
telling you, I looked it up. Yeah. It's on Wikipedia. Grammy Award
Who
for
won?
Best Metal Performance. The very first one was Metallica for the song "One."
You know what? Look up 1980. Look up Jethro Tull Grammy.
Okay, hold on.
Because that's when I could have swore that was 1988.
Hold on. I went right there. I Googled it. The Jethro Tull win a Grammy. 1989 was the first year heavy metal Grammy. So
1989.
1989. So the year before this list that's compiled here that I have. So
because I remember everybody was up in arms over that when somehow, some way, of course, Metallica came out and said they wanted to thank Jethro Tull for not putting out an album that year.
Yep. Oh God, that's funny. All right, so wow, I'll give you so the best metal performance Grammy. So I don't know. Is award presented to the Grammys to recording artists for work, songs, or albums containing quality performance in heavy metal music. So I'll give you some surprise ones. So Metallica won it in 1990 for the song "One." 1991 again was Metallica, Stone Cold Crazy. 92, Metallica for Metallica. 1993, Nine Inch Nails for Wish. 94 was Ozzy for I Don't Want to Change the World. Never heard that song. 95 was Soundgarden for Spoon Man.
Okay, I remember that.
96 is Nine Inch Nails, Happiness in Slavery.
Was that an album or a song? Had to be an album.
I would say it's an album, but I'm not sure. Nominees that year included Gwar, Megadeth, Metallica, and White Zombie. Rage Against the Machine in 97 won it for Tire Me. 98 was Tool for Anima. I think that's how you pronounce that. Metallica again won the Grammy. What's that?
Edema.
It says AENEMA.
I believe it's called Edema. I heard them pronounce it Edema.
I'll go with yours. 1999 was Metallica for Better Than You. Black Sabbath won a Grammy for Iron Man Live in 2000. The Deftones, I don't know them.
Deftones, I know the Deftones. Metallica. Sabbath, that might have been off of the Reunion album.
It says Iron Man is a song. It says off the studio. This is a live version, so it probably was. 2002 was Tool for Schism. 2003, Korn for Here to Stay. Metallica in 2004 won it for Saint Anger. Motorhead won the Grammy for Best Performance for Whiplash. Slipknot for Before I Forget in 2006. Slayer, Eyes of the Insane, 2007. Slayer again for Final Six. Metallica in 2009 for My Apocalypse. 2010, Judas Priest won it for Dissident Aggressor Live.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Iron Maiden won in 2011 for El Dorado, which is not an album, but a song.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of these are songs that you're mentioning now, by the way.
Yeah. Okay. Black Sabbath again in 2014 for God Is Dead.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Here's where you start to get, Tenacious D won it in 2015 for The Last in Line.
Come on now.
I'm telling you. Ghost won it in 2016 for Cerise. 2017 Megadeth.
Cerise, how do you pronounce it? Cersei.
Okay, Cersei, thank you. Metallica, the Megadeth in 2017 for Dystopia. 2018 was Mastodon for Sultan's Curse. 2019 High on Fire, Electric Messiah. 2020 was Tool for, looks like Tempest. Body Count won it for Bum Rush. Dream Theater for The Alien in 2022. 2023, Ozzy won it for Degradation Rules featuring Tony Iommi. And in 2024, Metallica won it for 72 Seasons. So, interesting list. And again, these are performances. I don't know if there's probably other categories which we can explore later on. I'll tell
you the truth. I don't think there's enough metal albums released anymore.
No, you go through that. It's interesting to see. The other thing I saw, we were talking about music today, was Ozzy's looking for one. I think you posted, as a matter of fact. Ozzy wants one more Black Sabbath show with Bill Ward in it, and interesting.
Yeah. Meanwhile, it doesn't even look like he could stand. And I would guarantee you, if the truth was to ever come out, that Ozzy and Sharon were the reasons why we didn't have that show with Bill Ward in the first place.
Oh, I would agree 100%. Yes. Yeah.
At this point in time, would a tour kill them?
Yes. Yeah. I could not. This would have to be at best like 4 shows, like 1 this month, 2 next month, split up, or over the course of a weekend, maybe like a Friday and a Sunday. Like you'd have to do 4 shows at max and be done with 1 in England, 1 in the States, 1, kind of one of those things. Or just one show at a huge giant festival.
Well, you know what? I'm seriously hoping that if anything, that Madison Square Garden is considered, and I would be there. I don't care if it's $1,000 a seat and I got to go by myself. I'm going. All
right, let me ask you this question. How far would you travel for the very last Black Sabbath show with Bill Ward full band? How far would you travel?
I think the Garden is on 34th and 8th.
That's it? That's as far as you would go?
As far as I'm going, bro.
Okay. See, now,
not only is Black Sabbath and Bill Ward getting older, Jeffrey is getting older too. He doesn't have the tolerance to deal with others and their shenanigans to go places.
I got you. I think for myself, I'm not even a huge Black Sabbath fan. I would probably say if it was on the Eastern Seaboard, if it was in D.C. or Virginia or anywhere down toward Florida, I would probably say I would make the trek. It's under 24 hours of driving. I think you'd get me. I do it once.
Well, you know what, Tom? Do you have the live album, The End?
I do. Yes, I think you made me a copy of it, if I'm not mistaken. I have. Yes.
Listen to it. Listen to some of the Ozzy vocals. Believe me, I'm
No,
not
no.
traveling far.
No, here's the thing. It's not about it. To me, it wouldn't be about the quality of the show. I wouldn't care if it was lip synced for all I give a shit. To get to see the original band one time. Now, again, you can't do it 5 years from now and they're all geezered up. But if you did it now and you told me I was getting to see the original Black Sabbath playing their very, very last show ever as a complete band, I got to do it. I'm not a huge Black Sabbath fan. Again, reasonable driving distance, I'm in. I'm not flying to England. I'm not flying to the West Coast. I'm not driving 2 days to get someplace. But if I could drive there in 8, 9, or 10 hours, spend the night, see a great show, and go home, I really would consider doing it. That's all I'm gonna say. It can't be at the Garden.
Why?
Because it's not big enough. It would have to be like Giant Stadium. It would have to be, because think about it, Jeff. People would be coming if you announced that this was the very last show for Black Sabbath ever. I get it, but the whole metal world is going to want to be there. Every big band is going to fly in and be at that show. Everybody's going to want to be backstage or part of that event. It could be at the Garden. 20,000 would not be enough for that. You'd have to do 2 shows.
Their very last show was done in Birmingham.
Yeah.
In an arena very similar to the Garden. Depending on what year it is, what time of year it is, and even better yet, you're going to put Ozzy out in the sun for 2 or 3 hours.
No, I get it. There's a lot of stuff to worry about. I get it.
Naomi has cancer. Bill Ward, I just saw a thing with Bill Ward. What holiday just passed? Was it Easter? No, it was his birthday.
Oh, okay.
Okay, now Bill Ward.
Yeah.
Okay. He's talking and he's doing a video to thank everyone for his birthday wishes.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, look, I got a bass here. I got a bass for my birthday. Somebody bought me a nice Squire bass. I'm like, wait a minute. This is fucking Bill Ward. Somebody went down to the fucking music store before they showed up at his house with a carving cake and bought him a fucking Squire bass guitar. Fender didn't send him a bass, or Music Man didn't send him a bass, or Geezer didn't send him a Lakeland. Are you fucking kidding me? They didn't send him a Rickenbacker, a Squire bass. You know what a Squire bass costs? And he's like, it's a fine bass. Look, it sounds great. And he's like, plink, plink, plink. You can't play it. Oh, learn how to play me this. And I was like, oh my God. And he thinking it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Meanwhile, it's like, bro, I'm broke and I could buy like fucking 15 of these things. Put it down, throw it out.
Yeah, I like I said, I am not a huge Sabbath fan, but if they were able to get these 4 geezers rounded up for one more show, and I got to be in the building for it. Now it's funny to say that because one of my favorite bands of all time played their last show, and I didn't attempt to go. The tickets were just outrageous, and I'm sure the Sabbath one would be the same thing. So the one thing that would probably prevent me from going would be the price of the tickets, because if you did do it at the Garden and it was one time with that kind of thing, you're talking $1,000 a seat. You're talking probably more than that for a show.
I would FaceTime my wife.
You would just FaceTime her?
Yeah, she don't know.
But I would tell you, that's interesting. I obviously, and I agree with you, I don't see it ever happen. There's just too many things. I mean, I think
people involved.
Could you even imagine them trying to have 4 or 5 practices to get ready for a show like that? I mean, I can't even imagine. Geezer and Tony. I think Geezer's probably the closest one to being semi-healthy at this point, right?
He would look at but I saw a video where Ozzy was with his family and his daughter was asking him questions. And one of the questions was about him doing some kind of drug, like doing coke or something. And Ozzy was like, you want to get something? Like, he was all on board for it. But it was just funny the way he did it.
Those guys haven't reached 80 yet, right? Like, those guys are mid-70 guys.
Yeah, but that's a hard.
No, I got it. But nobody's living a harder life than Keith Richards, and that motherfucker's in his 80s still doing it. How the
Yeah, but if he stops, he's probably done.
No, I get it, but the Stone, like I watched a video not long ago, and I'm no Stones fan. I've never understood the Stones. They're in that category with me with Zeppelin and a bunch of those bands, but the Stones I never understood. But they're still out there doing full tours at 80 years old. And I was watching Mick Jagger warm up, and this guy was jumping and he's kicking, and the guy's 80 something years old. I don't know if he's 80, 81. And I'm like, holy shit. There's bands out there in their 70s can't pull it together. This guy's 80 something and he's still pumping it out there.
Yeah, but here's the thing: when you think of the Rolling Stones and everything that they've done over the years, when they stop, they're gonna stop.
Yeah, I get it.
That's all there is to it.
What band was it that we were listening? We were talking about not long ago that like every member was like dying like in a row. What? Remember that we were doing one of those lists.
Yeah,
not Foreigner. It wasn't Foreigner, but it was one of those bands. And I was like one guy left, and like you better lock that guy in the house.
Dude, there's a lot of bands with only one guy left. Bands like Molly Hatchet, there's nobody left from them. Leonard Skinner, no originals left.
No.
Stones, you're going to get one day. One of them is going to die while playing a show. It's just going to fall off.
How many of them are still? How many of the original or the classic lineup guys are still around? Is it both guitar players? Right, Ronnie Wood's still there.
Ronnie Wood wasn't an original.
Well, I'm going back classic. I mean, he's classic lineup. What was that? The original guy was what, like a Mick Jones or something?
Mick Jones was, but like Ronnie Wood came in later. But Keith Richards and Mick Jagger. That's it.
Okay, so
that's it. The drummer died.
Yeah.
Bill Wyman retired years ago. Just I don't know how old he is. I think he's like in his mid-80s.
I think they're all that way. But yeah, I mean, to me, it's just like it's amazing. Those guys are still pumping out 100 shows a year, whatever it is, and doing it. And we can't get Ozzy and the boys together for one show. It's amazing.
Oh, it would be nice, but I just don't see it happening.
No, I agree with you, and I like I said, if I would.
Jagger is 80.
Okay, Richards has got to be close to that, right?
I'm going to let you know. Keith Richards is 80.
Wow.
He will be 81 at the end of the year, just in December. Ronnie Wood is the youngest. I know that. He's 76. He's a baby. Then we got Brian Jones. He was born in 42. He died at 27.
Wow.
Okay. Ian Stewart, I don't know who he is, so we're not looking at him. Bill Wyman, take a guess how old Bill Wyman is.
85.
87. He was born in 1936.
I don't think he's doing tours anymore. Wow. That was the drummer? That was
the bass player.
Bass player.
Charlie
Watts was the drummer, right? Okay.
And he died at 83 years ago.
Wow.
So he would have been 83. But I just got to get back to Bill Wyman real quick because Bill Wyman had married like a 13-year-old girl.
Come on.
Yeah. Let's see. His the 46-year-old, his ex-wife was Mandy Smith. In 1989, he was 52. He married Mandy Smith, who was 18, who he had fallen in love with when she was 13, and according to Smith, had a sexual relationship with her when she was 14.
Wow.
Couple separated 2 years later and finalized their divorce 2 years after that.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Well, I don't understand how we could turn around and say this, and just like, we had a sexual relationship when she was 14.
Yeah. I how did he not go to jail? Very
easy, Tom. When you have money,
I guess, and you're
not going to the jail.
Wow. That's crazy shit, though, man. That is crazy shit. I don't get all of that, but listen, again, it's interesting. We'll see how the Ozzy thing, if that comes to fruition. Again, one show, I think it'd be interesting. We'll see how it plays out. But guys, with Hard Rock and Sports, that's Jeff and I'm Tom. We're here Thursday nights, and of course, the NFL season has officially kicked off. The Rangers, by the way, are in the second period, down 1-0. They were just on a power play, and Kreider took a bad cross-checking penalty. The Rangers lose their power play, and they're playing very lethargic hockey for a team that's kind of desperate to win. I know they're up 3-2. And the likelihood of the Hurricanes winning 4 straight games in a series to beat them is unlikely. But right now,
It's happening.
it's definitely something that is not out of the question at the moment. So let's hope that the Rangers wake up and snatch this game, and we move on to the second round against I think the Hurricanes are up in that series. I'm sorry, the Panthers are up in that series. We'll see. Let's get back to the NFL schedule a little bit, Jeff, if you don't mind. And the opening games are interesting. The NFL opening game of the season, which is usually a Thursday night. I think it's usually a Thursday night, but I think for some reason this year it's a Friday night, is Kansas City and the Ravens. The Ravens have a very tough schedule to get started. We'll dig more into that later on in the season. The interesting, the Fox number one game this year, opening weekend, Jeff, is the Dallas Cowboys and the Cleveland Browns. Interesting, both quarterbacks a little under the gun. I mean, your boy Deshaun Watson is 3 years removed from all of his bullshit and still has not put together a big season with that big contract. And Dak Prescott playing for a big contract going into his free agent year, and Dallas is basically not offering him a new contract. But, Jeff, there's a third quarterback involved in this one. And do you know who I'm talking about?
No.
Well, it will also be the debut of one Thomas Brady as the number one analyst for Fox Sports that weekend. So Fox has moved Brady to the number one position and demoted Greg Olsen, who people rave about. I think Greg Olsen is horrendous. He started out as a decent one. He's been horrendous, and he's been dropped to the second team, lost $7 million a year for it.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I guess part of his contract was as long as he was the number one analyst, he made $7 million more, but he was dropped to the number two team and cost him $7 million. But that weekend will not only be big for the two quarterbacks and the two teams, both teams with playoff aspirations. Both teams made the playoffs last year. It will be the debut of Tom Brady. And I've heard different things about Brady. Some people think he's going to be boring. Some people think he's going to be very insightful. Knowing Brady, I know you don't like the guy, but separate the dislike you have for Tom Brady. And the Rangers are now down 2-0.
Jesus Christ. They're not going to fucking win it.
Wow. Jeff, separate the hatred for Tom Brady. I think Tom Brady brings a big perspective to the game, being one of the smartest quarterbacks I've ever seen. Obviously, a winner, has been in a lot of big games. What would your expectation be for a Tom Brady as an analyst?
It depends on his personality as he's calling the game. If he has a bit of a personality that he can keep you interested in the game and keep the game moving, I think he'll be fine. If he's boring, and which is, I think a lot of people are going to feel that way, then I think that he'll have no choice or no chance of keeping you occupied as a winner, as a watcher.
Yep.
And want to watch him and listen to him through the game. He's going to get a lot of people to watch coming out of the gate just so they could say, they watch Tom Brady, see what they think of him. I don't think that it's I just don't think he's going to go over big, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm not sure. See, I think he has the ability to, if he calls the game the way he quarterbacked, where he would call out teammates and he would, if you tell it like it is and you say when a guy's played well and when a guy doesn't play well, I think that bodes well for you. I think what you've seen, and I know you didn't watch the roast, but I think what you saw with his personality, some of the commercials he's doing now, the Dunkin' Donuts one, I thought was a funny one with what's his name?
Ben Affleck.
Yeah. I thought he was funny in that. I think he's got a personality. I think he's not. I hope he's not annoying like Tony Romo is, but I think there's a real good chance because it'd be almost like Belichick being an analyst. They're so smart. They know the game so well that if you just tell people what they're seeing and why they're seeing it, and just have a personality, but don't be afraid to call people out and explain why somebody did something wrong. I think Tom Brady's going to be fine. I really do.
Time will tell. And what are they paying him?
A lot of money. I think he got like a 10-year, $300 million contract.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he's making like $30 million a year, I believe, to do this. I'd have to double check myself on that, but I'm pretty sure that I'm right about that. But there's been a big change over the NFL pregame show on CBS. They've changed their analyst, Boomer Esiason, and Phil Simms are gone now. Rangers just scored 2-1 Carolina. Rangers get a goal back. Richard Trocheck on a beautiful goal. It's a big spot right there for the Rangers getting that goal right there. So both Boomer and Phil Simms are out of the pregame show. Now, I know you don't watch any of that stuff. I watch usually the Fox version. I liked Bradshaw and Howie Long and Michael Strahan. But I do tune over to CBS now and then to watch those guys. I like Simms and Boomer. But now that they're gone, you won't catch me on CBS. They've brought in J.J. Watt full time and the very boring what's his name? Guy was a quarterback for the Falcons. Matt Ryan.
Oh, okay.
Another boring guy.
Why did they get rid of Phil Simms and Boomer?
Well, I think it's basically the youth movement, Jeff. I mean, I think Simms and Boomer haven't played since the early 90s or mid 90s. And there's a youth movement. And, now Fox has got all old guys there. Howie Long, Strahan, Terry Bradshaw, Jimmy Johnson. Once in a while, they try to bring in people like Michael Vick. That didn't last. They try to bring guys in, and Gronk has been their big one. They've been trying to jam Gronk into the whole thing.
Gronk has ruined his credibility, I feel.
Yeah. Oh, I agree with you 100%. He's
that stupidity that he gives off. I just don't understand why you would even do that. You know, I could see if you were playing a part in a commercial or something like that, but every single time to come on, you wore it out.
No, I agree. I think what happens is, Jeff, that grows stale after a while, and then you get typecast as a moron. And how many times can you play the same moron? And I'm big dumb guy. That just doesn't play. That doesn't play forever. So I think it's a bad move on his part to accept that. I don't know if that's really who he is, and I would doubt it. But
I hope not for his.
Yeah, for his sake,
I
hope not. But it is what it is. So there's definitely a youth movement. They brought Brady in. That's their big move, and we'll see how it plays out for Fox. I mean, to me, I think we've gotten to the point. I would tell you that most weeks I don't even pay attention to who's even doing the games. At the days of turning it on to listen to Madden Summerall or Kirk Gowdy or Vern Lundquist and Dan Fouts, where you look forward to listening to those guys. I think those days are over. To me, it's just a bunch of guys out there talking that don't either make any sense or don't tell you anything you don't know. So
I hear you.
So we'll see how it plays out. So that's the big notable for week one. You get Cowboys and you get the Browns with Tom Brady in the booth. So we'll see how Tom Brady does with that. Let's see. Again, now the Giants are going to be in Germany this year against the Carolina Panthers. You got a couple games from to London. Let's see. So the Jets will be in London this year. Roger and Jets will kick off this year's London games when they visit the Minnesota Vikings at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on October 6th. Let's see what else you got here. Who else is there? I know Jacksonville's there both back-to-back weeks. And we'll get to the Jets schedule in a minute. Carolina Hope plans to join Christmas Day games. Okay, so I'm tired of these across the European game. Oh, the cat's around.
Yeah, the cat came up and before she goes and fucks with the dog, she wanted to come and spend a few minutes with us and get petted.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the international games. The games start way too early. I love football. I can't watch football from 9:30 in the morning till 11 o'clock at night. I just can't. I love the game. I like my mornings quiet. I like the game start at 1 o'clock and 2, 3 games, 4 games, whatever's I can squeeze in. I'm all in. But I think that at some point that it's more than enough. But But what's your thoughts on the international games? Do you think it brings anything to
I don't
the?
like them. To me, that's stretching. I think that's stretching the league way too far, even more so than putting games on during the week. I just don't like it.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
I just don't like it at all. I feel as though the football should be Sunday and Monday. Maybe you want to have a game on Saturday with the holidays, depending on how they fall. But at near the end of the season. But I just can't figure out why you got to go to Mexico and England and Germany. I mean, what's next? How about we do one in Ukraine?
Yeah. If they could get the streaming services to pay for it, I wouldn't doubt it would happen, Jeff.
Or better yet, maybe we'll do one in Gaza.
Yeah. That'll go well. Carolina just scored again. A bad, soft goal given up by Shesterkin. Carolina is now up 3-1, middle of just about the midpoint of the second period, which would be the midpoint of the game. That was not a great goal for him to give up. He's been kind of peppered with shots, but a goalie like Shesterkin should never have given up that goal. So Rangers down 3-1 here in the second period. Aho was the goal scorer again, the defense got suckered in, and Shesterkin got caught, I think, deep in the net. Anyway, let's get to the Jets schedule, Jeff. I want to get your take. Now, the Jets, we're going to go through the games real quick. And I know it's very early. We usually do this in training camp time. But the Jets have been Vegas has set the Jets as an over under 9.5 games winning this year. So and to win the AFC East. I know it's tough. It's a little early to tell. I don't have a major problem with them being the team to beat in the AFC East. I think the Buffalo Bills have sold off a lot of their team. The Patriots, rookie quarterback, new coaching staff. I think they're a year or two away from even thinking about it. I think Miami's the challenge. What's your thought on the Jets going into this, start of the season and before the season starts? Do you see them as the team to beat in the AFC East?
Yeah, it is a distinct possibility because, like you just said, you got a new program starting in New England. So let's see what happens there. Buffalo seems to have gutted their team, but added some pieces late, but no proven pieces that I know.
Nope.
So let's see what happens there. The Dolphins have been hot 2 years in a row. Last year, they didn't have many, if any, injuries at all. So, you got to see what happens. I would give the nod to what's his face on the Jets? Oh, shit, man. Wow.
Rodgers
over Tua as a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
But, that doesn't mean anything. Let's see how this all, plays out. As time goes on. I don't have a problem with them saying the Jets are going to win the AFC East because it's very possible.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think there's a seriously they have to be at the top. I mean, there's a team that was, I think, the number 3 defense in the NFL last year, or top 5 defense for sure. They're getting back a future Hall of Fame quarterback. There's a team that was flirting with being a decent team last year with no quarterbacks. So to me, a healthy Rodgers. We're adding in, we're another year of Garrett Wilson, another year past injury for Breece Hall, 2 explosive players. I think the big question still facing the Jets, Jeff, is did they fix the offensive line? And we won't know that until it starts. But if they have fixed the offensive line and they get some decent play, this is going to be a tough Jet team. I'm not sure about a Super Bowl berth, but I don't think a deep playoff run is out of the question.
Yeah, listen, I hear you. It's hard to disagree with that. But you know what? There's so many teams that you could make a story for to say that could fit into the same category. Yep. The Texans are up and coming. Denver has, I don't know what they're doing with quarterback over there. It just doesn't. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Cleveland's kind of made a case for themselves, a point for themselves.
Yeah.
What happens with the Chargers? What happens with the Bengals? Or which way the Steelers heading? There's a lot of stories, a lot of questions.
Absolutely.
So curious to see how this does go.
All right, so let's run through the schedule. Then I want to talk to you about some of the big games. So Jets open up on a Monday night, Jeff, on the road against the San Francisco 49ers. That is a Monday night game, which we all know last year what happened on the first Monday night game of the year. Jeff, do you think the Jets have a chance to go out to San Francisco and win this game?
Do they have a chance? Yes. Do they win? I'm going to say no.
Okay, so Jeff's saying no. I'm saying no on this one. Okay. Jeff, the next week, the Jets 1 o'clock game at Tennessee. So 2 games in a row on the road. This one is in Tennessee. Jets, Jeff, you giving a win or a loss here?
Win handedly.
Okay, so this is a L. This is a win. I'm going to also give them a win and a loss here. Okay, the following week, the Jets are at home opener on a Sunday night game, which is on Amazon Prime. Jeff, Jets and the New England Patriots.
Rookie quarterback for the Patriots, Jets.
Yep, I'm with you on that one. All right, Jeff. The following week, the Jets are still home. 2 weeks in a row, eating home cooking, sleeping in their own bed, Jeff. This time they get the quarterback challenge, Denver Broncos at home.
They pummel the shit out of Denver just for Frank.
That ought to be an interesting week leading up to that game. I'm sure there'll be a little bit of war of the words between you and Mr. Catalano.
There will.
The following Sunday, Jeff, the Jets fly out to London, and they face the Minnesota Vikings, who could be quarterbacked by one Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold will be seeing ghosts again. Jets.
Yeah, I'm going to go win. I can't see them losing this game. Let's go next. The next game, Jeff, we got here. Now, just for the record, there is the slightest chance that Denver game could be, the quarterback could be one Zach Wilson.
We can only hope.
It'll probably be Bo Nix, but there's a slight chance you could see two former Jet quarterbacks in a row, just for the record. Jeff, Monday, October 14th, the Buffalo Bills come to town. Now, this normally I would be leaning toward a Jet loss here, a Monday night game, the powerful Buffalo Bills. But like you said, Buffalo Bills have gutted themselves. Can the Jets win their 5th straight game? Oh, Jeff's going to win. I'm going to say they're going to take a loss here. I think this is a game where it's almost a letdown game. And when I say that is they're coming off all these wins. You got a tough team. You're thinking, we got their number. And I think Buffalo sneaks in on them. The following Sunday, the Jets are on the road on a Sunday night game, Jeff. And they face the Pittsburgh Steelers in Pittsburgh. Ooh, he's going Jets again. Jeff's definitely not. I'm going to give him an L here also. I think this Pittsburgh team is going to be better. And again, I think the Jets are still up and coming. I still think there's some issues there. I'm going this. There's a Jets are now up in New England, a place where they have seen the ghosts, have seen many a loss, tough loss. Jeff, I think the Jets are going to beat the crap out of New England Patriots. Are you taking the New England Patriots? It looks like he's going Jets win. So Jeff's got a lot of wins. I'm going to give him a W here. The Rangers should have scored a goal here. I'm just it looks like the puck never made it in. Let's see the replay. I don't see the puck. There's the puck. The puck is over the. Ooh, that is really close. Wow. I do not know if the puck made it all the way in. It has to be completely over the line. It did not go completely over the line. Wow, the defenseman did a great job. Wow, incredible. Thursday night, Jeff playing Thursday night. The Jets and the Houston Texans on a Thursday night. There's a W for Jeff. I'm going to go W also. November the 10th is a Sunday game, 4:30, the national game. Jets at the Arizona Cardinals. Jeff's going, wow, he's got a lot of W. I'm going to go loss here because I think they're due for a bad loss. And I'm going to put it right there. Sunday, November 17th, another 8 of 20 game. The Jets get a lot of primetime games at home to Indianapolis and the Colts, Jeff. Jeff's got a lot of W's. I'm going to go W here too. Bye week shows up Sunday, December 1st on Fox against another Jet former quarterback, Mr. Geno Smith.
I think they're going to squeak out a fucking victory here, the Seahawks.
I'm going to go loss right there. Okay, here's what might be their first tough game in a while, and this is Sunday at the Sunday game, 1:00 against the Miami Dolphins. I'm going the big L here.
I gotta go Jets.
At this point, I'm not, all right. The following Sunday is the Jacksonville Jaguars at home.
Jets. Gotta go Jets, man.
The following Sunday, 1:00, Los Angeles Rams at home.
I think the Rams are gonna take them.
Wow, first one. Okay, last two games may be their most tough. Sunday, December 29th, Jeff, at 1:00 in Buffalo.
I think they're yeah, you're right. That is I think Buffalo's gonna have already hung it up for quite some time.
Okay, so you're giving them a W. And they end the season January 4th or 5th. I don't know why January 4th or 5th. I guess it could be a time and network to be determined. This is the Jets at home to the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, the Jets. Gotta go Jets.
Wow. So you've given the Jets one loss, two losses. So you got the Jets going 15-2 this year.
No, I gave them more than 2 losses.
I got one loss in Los Angeles.
I got 3 or 4 losses.
Nope. No. I only got 2 losses.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I got them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I got them 7 losses this year. So
you're also a Giant fan, so you
know. Again, I get it. Now, again, let's go through the schedule for the New York Jets while we're at it. So 3 toughest games. Huh?
You want to do the Jets again so you know how the team wins?
What do you mean? How each team wins?
That's what I mean. You're not used to winning over there on the other side.
Oh my God! No, we're gonna do the Giants, but I want to just go.
Them snappy new uniforms.
Oh boy, here we go. All right, so Jets 3 toughest games. Week 1 against the 49ers, week 14 at the Dolphins, and week 17 at the Bills. Those are easily their toughest games. Easiest games: week 3 against the Patriots, rookie quarterback. Week 4 versus the Broncos. Who knows who's quarterback in that game? And week 10 at the Cardinals. I mean, those are 3 simple, easy games. And most notable games: week 5 in London against the Vikings, week 7 at the Steelers, and week 16 versus the Rams. I don't know why that would be a notable game, but that's what they have. So let's talk a little bit about the Giants, Jeff. Tough schedule, not the toughest schedule in the whole world, but a tough schedule. First 2 weeks are Minnesota and Washington against rookie quarterbacks. They get the first tough game against the Browns in Cleveland, and then the comeback Thursday against the Cowboys. 2 tough games in a row, and then they go out to Seattle to play the Seahawks 10 days later. Tough games against.
Let's go down the whole line, man. Like,
you want to do it? Okay, sure. I didn't know. Okay, so week 1, Jeff, Giants are at home versus the Minnesota Vikings with probably Sam Darnold as their quarterback. I'm going to give the Giants a W here.
Have no choice. Have to.
Okay. Week 2, the Redskins come to town. New quarterback, new coach, new a lot of things. I still think the Giants are better than the Redskins. I'm going to go W here.
I have to agree with you on this one.
Okay. Here's the first tough game. Giants on the road the following Sunday in Cleveland. I think this is a loss for the Giants. I don't think Cleveland's great, but they are a playoff team, and they do play really well. I'm going to give the Giants an L here.
I'm going to go the same.
Okay. All right. Now, the Giants come back Thursday night. Tough, but they are home. The home team usually does a better job on these nights. Giants, Cowboys at home on Amazon Prime. I'm going to give the Giants a W. I think they're going to be a better team, and I think Cowboys have a lot of turmoil, and the home team is usually the better team on the Thursday night game. I'm going W here, Jeff.
Tom, I got to go with the Cowboys. I think that Dak Prescott is going to be playing for a contract.
Yep.
He's going to play hard, and whether he wins or not is another story. But it's all about money for him this year.
It is about making the bank for this year, Jeff. You're 100% right. Week 6, or actually week 5, the Giants travel out to Seattle. They do not normally play well in Seattle. I'm going to give the Giants a loss here. I think they're a better team, but if this was the home game, I would take the Giants. But Jeff, it's Giants in Seattle.
I got to go with Seattle with this one, man.
Okay, I kind of have to agree. Another now you got 3 tough games in a row here. So the Giants need to split. I don't see where they're going to get it. First game is home against the Cincinnati Bengals on a Sunday night. The Giants don't play well on national games. I think Cincinnati's looking to reclaim the division. I think there's an L here, unfortunately.
You know what? I'm going to shock you, and I'm going with the Giants on this one.
Really? What makes you go Giants on this one?
Well, I love Joe Burrow.
Uh-huh.
He may be one of the best 3 quarterbacks in the league.
I would agree.
Okay. But he got hurt early in camp last year, never shook it off. He seems injury prone to me. So I'm going to go just a little sore, a little injury, whatever could rearrange his game plan. I'm going to go Giants.
All right, nice. Okay. The following Sunday at home against the Philadelphia Eagles. I think the Eagles are a desperate team. I think the Eagles have shit the bed. I'm going Giants W right here. The Giants are going to be pumped up for this game.
I don't know, man. I don't know. You forgot the Barkley factor.
I do. I that's part of why I think it's a shit in the bed. I think that's a desperation move to overpay. I love Saquon Barkley, but they overpaid for Saquon, and that's a desperate move for me. I think Jalen Hurts is being exposed, and I think that the Eagles will be at best the second best team in that division, maybe the third best team in that division. Very possible.
I got to go with the Eagles, man.
Okay, that's the sound. It's a sound move here. So you have to win. You got a loss for the Giants here. I got a win for the Giants here. Okay. Monday night, Giants never play well. They're playing the Steelers. This is a tough game for me. At Pittsburgh, Jeff, what do you like in this one?
Man, I got to go with Pittsburgh.
Okay. I can't, it's hard to argue this one. I'm going to go loss here too. They never play well on Monday nights to begin with. And Pittsburgh and them, there's a big rivalry. The families are intertwined. There's kids married to kids in this one. I'm going to go with you on this one. The following Sunday, the Giants play the Washington Redskins again, this time at home. I like the Giants in this game for a W.
I'll take the Giants.
Okay, Giants get the win here. On the road, the Giants have won. I think they're 4-0 outside the U.S. The Giants go to Germany to play the Carolina Panthers. At 9:30 in the morning on a Sunday. I'm taking the Giants in this game. I think Carolina sucks.
Yeah, I don't think Carolina is going to do much this year.
Okay, the bye week is in.
Trying. You know what I mean?
Yep, I agree with you. The Giants, an interesting game. Baker Mayfield comes to town with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on a 1:00 game. I'm going W for the Giants here.
Yeah, I don't know. Tampa Bay is one of those teams.
Yeah.
Are they real? Are they going to do anything, or are they a team that's always going to be like, especially with Baker Mayfield, looking from the outside in, trying to get in, and just being
a little short every year.
Oh, a lot short. I just think they're a high B level team.
Okay, so you're giving the Giants a W, or you're going to give it over to Tampa?
I'm going to say it's close. I don't know if I can give the Giants a W, but for this, I will.
Okay. Thursday night.
Somebody has to win, right?
Somebody's got to win the game most of the time. Thursday night being Thanksgiving in Dallas. I do not see the Giants having a prayer to win this game. So I'm going to go traditionally, as always, the Giants lose to Dallas on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I got to agree with you.
Following Sunday, the Giants will rebound, beat the New Orleans Saints at home. I'm giving the Giants a W there.
I have to agree.
Okay, so Giants get a W from Jeff. Tough game for the Giants following Sunday. Baltimore Ravens come to town. The Giants don't normally play the Ravens really well. I don't know why John Harbaugh gives them fits, but I'm going to give the Giants an L in this game.
I got to go with Baltimore.
Okay. Last 3 games of the season, winnable games in my book. But the first one is Kirk Cousins and the Atlanta Falcons. People think that this team is much improved now, Jeff. They got a legit quarterback. I don't think a great quarterback. Will he be healthy at this point in the season? We don't know. But at the very least, the Atlanta Giants have to go to Atlanta to play the Falcons. I'm going to give the Giants an L here. I think this is a tougher game than expected, and I'll assume that Kirk Cousins is there. I'm giving the Giants an L here.
Yeah, I got to agree. I think that Kirk Cousins is going to make a difference for Atlanta.
Yeah.
Maybe not playoff bound, but they're going to be a different team.
All right, December 28th or 29th, the Giants are facing the Indianapolis Colts. It says time and network to be determined. This is a home game for the Giants. I like the Giants to win this game. I think the Colts are still far away as a team, and I don't know if Anthony Richardson's going to be healthy at this point. I'm giving the Giants a W at home against the Colts.
I think the Colts are going to squeak this one out.
Okay, that's fair enough. I couldn't argue that. And last game, January 4th to 5th, is at the Philadelphia Eagles. The Giants have not played well in Philly over the last few years. I don't know if this game is going to be meaningful for either team, but just based on the rivalry and the hatred from the fans, I'm going to give the Eagles the win here. I can't see the Giants going into Philly and sweeping the series this year. So I'm going to give them an L here.
I got to go to complete opposite, man. I got to think that the
Really? You think the Giants are going to need
the Eagles are going to need the win at that time of the year?
Yeah. I think the Giants lose this game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have the Eagles as a winner. I saw why. So you have Giants 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You gave the Giants 6 or 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You gave the Giants 7 wins. I think I was a little better than that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I gave the Giants 9 wins. So that's where we got it. Let me get the notable games for the Giants this year. So the Giants this year, Jeff, have their notable games opening week. So week 13, they got the Cowboys, which is Thanksgiving Day. I don't expect that to be a great game for the Giants. Week 3 at the Browns. A couple of old-time classic. By the way, can you name the 4 original football teams that are still playing today?
Packers.
Go ahead.
Bears.
Go ahead.
Redskins.
Nope.
No.
Well, one you got to know. You're missing one. You've been ripping them. Nope.
The Giants.
Yep. Giants. There's 3. There's one more.
Maybe Cleveland Browns.
Nope. The Cardinals.
Oh wow! I mean, it would have been a
while.
while.
Chicago Cardinals, Boston Cardinals, but they were back. They were one of the original franchise. They just moved 100 times.
Yeah.
But the Packers, the Bears, the Giants, and the Cardinals all go back well over 100. Go back 100 years as an original franchise.
14 league. What they play like 3 games?
No, there were other teams, but most of those teams have fallen apart or disappeared. And the teams have come in and gone over the years. Those 4 teams were the originals that have made it this far. Kind of like the original 6 in hockey.
Yeah.
So that's the schedule for the Jets and the Giants, Jeff. The Giants, let me ask you this question. What team has the better chance of exceeding Vegas's thoughts? The Giants are over under 6.5, and the Jets are over under 9.5. Who has the better chance of being over?
I got to go with the Jets. I think the Jets are going to have the better season.
I would agree with you. I think if you look at the Jets' schedule, they have the 4th easiest schedule this season. The Giants have the 13th easiest schedule for the season, and I also think the Jets are the more talented team. And again, I think to me, there's 2 things for the Jets: health and the offensive line.
Yeah, well, of course, if that offensive line is much improved, they could catch a lot of people by surprise. Will they be this year's Detroit Lions? I don't know. We'll see.
That's a great question. Well, here's the thing: would the Jets be catching anybody by surprise? If the Jets went out there and won 10 games, would anybody be surprised?
Yeah, just about every Jet fan.
Well, take out the fact that you wait for the black cloud to pop up. I get that part. What I'm saying is, the normal fan, if you look at this Jet team, the one thing you've seen over the last couple of years is if they had a quarterback, they would probably have been a much better team. I mean, obviously, that's easier said, but if they won 7 games last year.
They won 7 games with Trevor Siemian and Zach Wilson and whoever that other guy was. I don't even remember right now.
Boyle, right?
Timmy Boyle.
Boyle, yeah.
So that's not exactly a murderer's row of quarterbacks. And one that was, God, think about that for a second. 7 wins. Now, some of those wins were cheap wins.
Yeah.
But a win is a win. And like you say, nobody's going to remember at this time of year who you beat for for 7 wins last year.
Yep.
If Aaron Rodgers was healthy and played on that team, I would say that team would have been at least 10-7.
I would agree with that. Yeah, and I think again, I don't think they're sneaking up anybody. Now, the one thing I'll say is the Jets have been a remarkably healthy team, especially defensive guys. Like guys like Quinn Williams play every game. Guys, what Sauce Gardner is there every game. At some point that could run out, and that's why, to me, if you're the Jets or any team, there's always an urgency to win because there's only so much health, you lose a couple of those guys and your fortunes change. And again, there's a lot to be said. By the time Aaron Rodgers takes a meaningful snap, and I'm sure he won't take one snap in the preseason, it'll be close to over a year and a half since he took a meaningful snap in a football game at 40 years old. There is something to be said. Now, do I think he's going to be Aaron Rodgers of 3 years ago? No. Do I think he's going to be worse than the guys they had last year? Absolutely not. So he is an upgrade regardless of what his skill set is right now.
And remember, just because he's a pro for as long as he is, he's an adaptable quarterback.
Correct.
He can learn to adapt to certain situations, which is going to make him a better quarterback than they had last year with Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
Will he have to get rid of the football quicker? I believe that he'll be able to read the defense and process everything so much quicker than Zach Wilson that the offensive line, while still an issue, if it doesn't gel, is not going to be the issue it was for Zach Wilson. And once again, Jets 7-10 with Zach Wilson, Trevor Siemian, and Timmy Boyle at quarterback with that current offensive line. Okay?
Yeah.
Think about that. They made a few upgrades to the offensive line. Great. You got a better quarterback. It's got to translate into a couple wins. It has to.
No doubt in my mind. Yes. There's a couple games you can look back to last year. I'm sure if we go back and look at it, and we will at some point, that if you look back and say if they had a decent quarterback, I think just the Patriot game, that one Patriot game they lost, they didn't score any points.
Yeah, I'm sure we could go through just about every loss. They were never really, from what I remember, were blown out.
No, it's just they couldn't score points. Nobody was scoring points on them. They just couldn't score.
Yeah, like I'm going to real quick
see
if I could get New York Jets. There it was. Schedule. And this is last year. I don't know if it's going to come up. It's taking forever. No, it shows last year's schedule. Oh, hold on. Let me get 2023. Okay, here we go. 2023. All right. So week 1, they won against Buffalo. They got destroyed by Dallas by 20 points. Week 3, they lost 15-10. They lost to Kansas City by 2 points. If they had a better quarterback, those could have been different.
Sure.
Then we went on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row. They lost to Los Angeles 27-6. They lost to Vegas 16-12. They got blown out by Buffalo 32-6. They got blown up by Miami 34-13. They lost by 5 to Atlanta. They lost to Houston big 30-6, and they lost to Miami big 30-0.
Yeah.
And then they lost to Cleveland 37-20. I think that would have been a different game. I'm not saying they would have won. Trevor Siemian, but real quick, here's something that is said.
Go ahead.
Wilson, for the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games, his yardage 140, 150, 157, 245, 199, and 186. He broke 200 yards once. Okay. The net, now this is after the bye week, weeks 8 through 18. Wilson 240, Wilson 263, Wilson 263. I remember when that happened. It was the second coming of Joe Namath. Wilson 81 yards. Wow. Boyle 2 weeks in a row, 179, 148. Wow. Back to Wilson 301. Siemian the rest of the way, 110, 217, 261, 70. Just inconsistent fucking play.
Yeah.
Consistent play. The quarterback, they broke 300 yards as a team once and barely did that, 301 yards.
Wow.
What is it? You can't win. Your quarterback has to be able to take that team and put it on its back once in a while.
Sure.
And I never felt it safe by saying that Zach Wilson could do that. Never felt it.
Well, that's why he's in Denver, and his spot there is shaky. That's a team that just drafted Bo Nix, and they're not going to carry 4 quarterbacks. And I got a feeling it ain't going to be Zach Wilson, but there's a reason why he's no longer quarterback in the New York Jets. And again, I think this is a season for the Jets to have some optimism. Much like we're seeing right now with hockey and basketball, and to a certain extent with the Yankees baseball, I think you have a chance to have a really good football season for both teams. I don't expect the Giants to do anything major damage-wise, but I expect them to be better. And I think the Jets, I'm going to bet the Jets to be over 9.5 wins. I can't imagine them. Again, I think you hit it on the head. Even if the offensive line isn't great, Rodgers will still make them better by being able to change plays up and process things quicker and getting the ball out faster. So I agree with you on that. If he stays healthy, the Jets will be a better team. I don't know if they're a Super Bowl team, but they'll be a better team.
I can't say enough. I remember one specific play last year where Zach Wilson was looking over to his left because he keyed in on one receiver, never took his eyes off of him. Meanwhile, on the right-hand side of the field, it was sick what was going on when he wasn't even looking at it.
Right.
It was like 3 guys that were open, and he just never looked that way. And there was one guy standing there doing jumping jacks, screaming his name, and they just didn't look that way. He keyed in. That's his man. I'm going down with the ship with him.
Yeah.
Well, this is why he's now gone. And thank God that they traded him. There's no worry about he's coming back. He's going to be on the team. He's going to be on the field. There's nothing to worry about. We'll worry about where we stand when the season starts, and hopefully Aaron Rodgers doesn't get hurt, or if he needs a rest, we have a competent backup in Tyrod Taylor. It is what it is, man. But at least they were smart enough to make some upgrades here and there.
No, I could not agree with you more. I think we both said it. We talked about it at the end of the season. We were kind of wrapping up the season to say, Joe Douglas, the Jets, they cannot go into this season and have Zach Wilson even on the roster, even if he's third man in. Just the simple possibility that he could possibly wind up the Jets starting quarterback with a couple of injuries, and especially the way the last few years, they've gone to 3 quarterbacks at least the last 2 out of the last 3 years, if not 3 out of the last 3 years.
So, let me see. I never shut down that page. Let me look at the year 2022 and see who the quarterbacks were. You started with Flacco in 2022. You went over to Wilson for several games in a row, and then you ended up with Flacco.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, Danny White, or whatever his name was, Mike White, threw for almost 370 yards. The Jets just they took him, and they shouldn't have taken him, Zach Wilson. Sure. I was never sold on Zach Wilson. I just never was.
Yeah. Well, again, it was. I thought again, it was all about. Did you see the throws he made in his pro day? And I say, if you put me in shorts and a t-shirt, I'll make enough throws to impress you at 50 years old. That you say, oh, that's great throws. Yeah, I'm in shorts and a t-shirt. Nobody's rushing me, and I'm able to throw however I want. It's the most ridiculous thing you ever heard in your entire life. That people put that much effort into the pro days is amazing to me.
In 2019, right? I'm looking back. They started with Donald, okay? And then they had Folk. I don't even remember Folk, to be honest with you.
Oh, wow.
But here's something that this guy Folk played in 17 weeks, played 3 games. They had Donald in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 games in a row, showing some consistency, okay? In that time, the Jets lost 1, 2, 3, 4. They went 7-5.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But every year that I looked at so far, the Jets started quarterback one game or another threw for under 100 yards. In 2019, it was Donald with 86 yards.
Wow.
86 yards. Yeah. Okay. Now here we are in 2018. Okay. Donald had trouble breaking 200 yards. 198, 169, 167, 198, 153. McCowan came in and played a few games because Donald was hurt. That was the first year that I see from going from 2023 back where they didn't have a guy. I'm going to get out of this page now. I'll spend all night looking at it. They didn't have a quarterback that they broke 100 yards every game. You know, it's just a lot of people say the Jets can't develop a quarterback, and it's hard to argue that fact. What the Jets can't do is scout. You can't develop a quarterback if you don't have the rest of the team. If you don't have an offensive line, you're not giving the guy anything. How many times did they draft wide receivers that they ended up getting rid of?
Yeah.
After no time. There was one kid from Georgia Tech, I remember.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember his name. He played a few games.
And
he was gone. You know, it's just I just don't know. Tom, hold 1 second, please take over. I gotta take a quick squirt.
Sure, that's it. Jeff comes back. We'll wrap the show up. Again, I appreciate everybody coming out tonight and hanging with us. We got a lot of great shows coming up, and we're creeping up on 10 years. That's right. This season, we are celebrating 10 years of doing the Hard Rocket Sports Show, and it seems like yesterday that July 26th, 2014. Threw the mics on for the first time and went supposed to do 3 hours, only did an hour and a half because I ran out of material, and did it from my wife's sewing room, and that's where the show started. And then today I'm doing it from my spare room, wonderfully adorned with sports and music memorabilia and pictures of family, and we'll be doing this well again, it's definitely year to year now. I would say next year is never a guarantee right now. I love doing it. I kind of wish that I was closer to retirement or working less hours, and I would really look forward to this. And I hope I can keep this alive with Jeff to that point, because then it would be even more fun where you can put a little more effort into this again. Now I just don't know, but it's still a lot of fun. I love talking sports and music with Jeff, and hopefully all you guys listen in. I'm assuming tonight we didn't have a big following. I guess everybody's watching the Rangers, or it's getting nicer weather, so it's going to lighten up a little bit. But a lot of the original cast of characters just aren't around this week. Everybody's probably watching the Rangers get their heads handed to them 3-1 going into the third period. So everybody also looking around. My dad took the week off. He's got a big meeting for his place. He's the president of Group 6, whatever they call it, Mutual 6. That's it, Mutual 6, and his development. And Dad's got to attend the meeting, so he's out doing that today. So when Jeff comes back, we'll wrap this thing up and call it a day. Real quick, Jeff, last thing for me before I ask you the regular stuff. I saw the Mike Tyson fight against Jake Paul is a sanctioned bout. Mm-hmm. It will absolutely count on their records. It is, though, and here's my problem with it. It's only 8 2-minute rounds, which bothered me. One, I'm not paying for it. I have Netflix, so I'm hoping that we'll watch the fight together at some point, somewhere, whether we watch it at your house or you guys come out here, or I can obviously we can log on to Netflix. I think that's going to be an event, but it's 8 2-minute rounds. I'm curious to see how the fight. Also, it's bigger gloves. I'm guessing that means it won't hurt as much, the bigger gloves. But I think kind of takes the luster away. But do we really expect Mike Tyson to go 12 3-minute rounds at 57 years old?
So some of the videos that I've seen of him training, I wouldn't want to find out. And if I was Jake Paul, I think I would have insisted 12 3-minute rounds, because I've never heard of a 2-minute round before. Maybe you have. I never. No,
never have.
Okay. And the last thing that I want to do is give Mike Tyson any opportunity to stay fresh. Because if Jake Paul just constantly moved and stayed away from him, you're going to tire him out. The last thing I want to do is give this guy any chance to fucking get his, either that or Tyson just, I'm going to go all out for practice, but I don't care about this fight. I don't care. Unless it's one of those, which I highly doubt. I don't understand why, but I mean, come on, bro.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
want to give Mike Tyson any chance to have an upper hand?
Here's the thing. They say the last thing to go is the punch. I think Tyson for a couple rounds. If this is a legitimate fight, now again, I don't know if it's a legitimate fight or not. I thought there was a chance the Roy Jones Jr. fight 4 years ago was a legitimate fight. It was not. That was a couple of punches and a lot of hugging. I don't know if this is that or not. If it's a legitimate fight, I think that if you're Jake Paul, you got to survive the first 3 rounds. After that, I think Tyson is going to be hanging on for dear life. I don't care how much you train. 57 years old, do something straight for 2 minutes. And I'm talking that's not only punching and it's the stress of it all. Try doing something for 2 minutes, that high stress, and then do it again for 2 minutes. And then again, that's a lot at 57 years old. I'm not excited for this fight, but I'm interested in this fight.
Well, while I understand what you're saying, I have to, of course, look at it from the flip side. You're talking a 57-year-old man that's in shape.
Yep.
This isn't somebody that said, I'm done boxing and then fucking ballooned up to 350 pounds.
Well, agreed.
This is a man that, other than some obvious signs of aging, if you looked at his silhouette, you would probably be like, that's Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
You probably have a hard time saying what era of Mike Tyson it was. I'm not saying that he can't lose. I mean, he's already shown that he can lose. He's lost several fights.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think he's focused. I think he wants it. And I think it spells big trouble for Jake Paul, man.
I would agree with you. I just don't. I think if Jake Paul would get through the first 3, maybe 4 rounds, I think Tyson's in trouble. I think Tyson's gonna, if it's a legit fight and he's really looking to win this fight and not just survive it. If he's looking to win this bout and he gets through, he's looking to take this kid out in the first few rounds. Even if Jake Paul sucks, he's still 27 years old. He's gonna benefit from 8 2-minute rounds. That's just my point.
Yeah, he is gonna benefit from 8 2-minute rounds. 100%. But like I said, so is Mike Tyson. That's 1 minute less of punishment he has to absorb. Let's say that an average heavyweight throws 50 punches a round.
Okay.
Okay. So 3 times 50, it's a little bit more of 3 into 50. It's a little bit more than 15, 16 shots a minute.
Okay.
So after 3 rounds, that's 45 less punches, 45 to 50 less punches that Tyson's absorbing. Shots to the head, shots to the ribs, shots to the arms. Listen, maybe Jake Paul comes out, just punches him in the fucking upper arms like Marciano used to do.
Yeah.
Make the arms heavy. You know what I mean?
Sure.
You don't know what his strategy is.
No.
One thing I can tell you is that if he doesn't take it seriously, Jake Paul, and what I mean by seriously, I'm talking about respect what you're doing. The one thing I could say about Tyson, I think he's going to respect the game. He's going to respect the fight.
Yes.
He's not going to come out. He may turn animal. I don't know. Okay. Especially if Jake
Paul
wants to win. Well, what I mean by animal, ear biting.
Oh, I don't see. Yeah, I don't see that. Yeah.
Okay. If he starts losing, I could definitely see that happening. But if I'm Jake Paul, I'm not going to turn around and hit him in the back of the head while he's going to his corner. I'm not going to do anything to rile this man up. If anything, I'm tapping gloves with him in the start of every round.
Yep.
Mike, thank you for, at the end of each round.
Absolutely. Sure.
Because if you piss this man off.
No, I agree. I
couldn't care if he was 67.
I couldn't agree with you more. You don't want to wake the sleeping bear. You want to just okay, no problem. Hey, nice job then, Mr. Tyson. My thing for me is if you're Mike Tyson, maybe your legacy is cemented already. Maybe it doesn't matter. But if you're Mike Tyson, you can't want to lose this fight to Jake Paul. You just can't. The Roy Jones Jr. thing, I don't think bother. He's Roy Jones Jr. He's a great fighter in his own right. If you're Mike Tyson, do you want the last thing on your scorecard, or theoretically the last thing on your scorecard, to be you lost to Jake Paul? To me, if you're Tyson, you got to go out there and beat the living snot out of this kid and cement the win. Knock him out. You don't want to leave anything to chance. You want to knock this kid the freak out. So I'm not looking forward to it, but I'm excitedly going to watch to see what we get. for the show, it's great, and I'm looking forward to it'll be our anniversary show when we'll be talking about it because the fight I think is the 20th, and the following Thursday we'll be doing our show. So we'll see.
You got to keep in mind a couple things, though. All right,
Yeah.
Mike Tyson is. I think I heard someplace he's getting like $20 million for this fight.
I'm not sure that wouldn't surprise me.
I think that's about what he's getting.
Okay.
That's bottom line. That's bottom line. Even if he comes and he fights and he beats Jake Paul, I don't see him fighting another fight. I think he was going to just come out and say at that point in time, I had one fight. It was a sanctioned fight. If he wasn't Mike Tyson, I don't think it would be a sanctioned fight. All right. How much more are they going to do with this guy? How much more could you expect from him?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Listen to me. This is it. I mean, there can't be another fight after this. But now, if Tyson goes out there, knocks his kid out in the second round, there's going to be talk about him fighting somebody else, fairly quickly. It's going to happen. If he goes out and loses, this will be the end of the experiment.
Yeah. Listen, I just hope that he wins, and
me too.
For our sake, I hope he wins, and I think the guy is going to put on a good fight. I think it's going to be something that we're all going to want to watch, and listen, go Mike.
There you go. Good for the old guys, Mike. So Jeff, I know June 9th is the big food truck show with 25 missions. Is that a 2:30 start, 12:30 start? What time are you guys going on?
2:30 start. That is the food truck. Yep. Mount Loretto. That's always a fun show.
Yep.
Every year it seems to get a little bit different. They used to have it on the front lawn, and then they moved the trucks. There were so many trucks, they moved them into the parking lot over there. Which is a big thing with a stage, huge stage and stuff. So
nice.
Who knows what they're going to add for this year? But and I'm excited for that show. I like playing with 25 missions, and right now it's my only full-time band, so to speak, and that's not even full-time.
Right.
The one that I'm excited about is June 22nd, which might just be, the nail in the coffin for the Remorons. We don't know with the way this band goes. I've actually had people at work who I don't talk to come up to me and say, "Yo, you're playing, right? You're doing the Ramones thing. My boyfriend loves the Ramones. We want to come watch you play." And this is somebody that I don't even really talk to that much. And I'm having, it's generating some buzz among some people. So I'm hoping that we come out and, the plan is to level the place.
There you go. Well, listen, go out there and knock the walls down, man. So, and that's that show is where now on the 22nd?
Mother Pugs.
Okay.
And there's another band that we're playing with. I'm hoping that we're firing on all cylinders. If we are, we're going to impress some motherfuckers, and people are going to take notice.
Oh,
that's what I can say about that.
All right. Well, listen, let's everybody get out and support good shows, good bands, especially my good buddy Jeff and the 25 Missions gig on June 9th and the Remorons gig on June 22nd. So make sure you guys get out and support. We'll keep promoting it here. And, of course, come back each and every Thursday night when Jeff and I get together and we do the Hard Rock and Sports Show. So, Jeff, so about 10 after 9, we're going to wrap this one up. The Rangers are losing 3-1, third period. They're about 7 minutes in. The Giants, the Rangers up. Right, Jay just scored, making it 3-2. It's going to get interesting from here. So
the Rangers are down 3-2.
The Rangers are down 3-2 with 13 minutes left in the third period.
Are they up 3-1 or 3-2?
3-2 in the series.
Oh wow! So this would force a game 7.
This would force a game 7 Saturday night back in New York. So nobody wants that coming off 3 straight losses.
No.
We'll see at this point what happens. But right now, the Rangers have just brought it to within 1. And I think that's Chris Kreider on a jam-in goal. If that's Kreider, yep, it is. So somehow the puck got in the net. I don't know how he squeezed that boy. Holy cow. Anyway, great game. So we'll wrap it up here. But, guys, make sure you come back next Thursday night. Jeff and I'll do this all over again. When next be right Memorial Day weekend and be kicking off. You got to work the whole weekend on the Memorial Day weekend. You usually have these
just a Sunday, Monday, but
that's all weekend. You get Saturday, Friday, and Saturday off.
Yeah, but
you're on your regular schedule then, Sunday, Monday.
Yeah. You know, I mean, maybe me and my wife will barbecue in the backyard. I don't know what we'll do. You know, it can't really do much.
Yeah, my wife is working all weekend next weekend. She's back to work full time, so it's something she hasn't done in a while. So I am sitting around on that weekend, but that's okay. I hang with the puppy and play a lot of guitar. I've been doing a lot of practicing for the big July 27th jam with the boys.
What is going on with that, man? Is everybody coming? Is this just going to be the people that were in the studio a couple weeks ago, or is there going to be extras coming? What's this?
As far as I know, should be everybody from the December jam. The only one who isn't coming would be Mr. Joe Gansas. Has said he's busy. He doesn't think he'll be able to make it. But everybody else, I talked to Paul at your house. He thought he was in, even though he hasn't responded to it. So yeah, Bobby Peck's coming up. Drew's coming. I did not invite Chris Salazar. If you want to extend that invitation, that's up to you. Johnny Collins is coming. Ronnie Morms, Jimmy, Bob, me, you. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much Drew Neary's. Drew's in. So it's most everybody else.
Okay.
So I will get out a set list to everybody, and I will read you a message in a half a second. Okay. Yeah, I didn't think so. I prefer not to anyway, to be honest with you.
No reason to.
Yeah, exactly. So, it should be a full squad. And we'll see. I'm contemplating a couple of other invites. I will keep it to myself until I decide whether to invite and whether they come or not. But I have at least one, if not two more people I'd like to invite to get fill up the roster. So let's see what happens.
Just keep me updated, and I will be there.
Yes, I've added some songs to the set list. One was Dream Police. I've gone out and learned the song. It's a fun song to play. One of my favorite Cheap Trick song of all time.
Good one. I got another one too, man. I may wait another week or two before I hit you up with this one, but this one is a cool song, and I know Drew would be able to sing it.
What song? What are you throwing it out there, or are you holding on to it right now?
AC song, man.
It's an AC/DC song?
Yeah, old AC/DC song too, man.
Okay, all right. So we'll have to wait and see what Jeff comes up with, but we'll July 27th, we'll have some fun with that. So we'll see what happens.
I was jamming to this one last night, and it's such a cool song, man. It really is. And I know that Drew would be able to nail it too.
Oh, anything AC/DC, I think that guy can nail. He does a great job with it. So, again, I've had the bug, especially since the last jam. I thought the last jam was fun, and it actually had some fun songs that we played, and I thought we had a couple that went really well, and it's inspired me to play a lot more. I've been playing a hell of a lot more than I've been the last few years, so I'm looking forward to the July 27th gig with all the boys and having some fun. So we'll keep you updated on that and everything else, Hard Rocket Sports. But for now, we must end the show. Again, guys, we hope you have a great night, a great rest of your week, a great weekend, and a great next week. And we hope you come on back when Jeff and I do this all over again. So for Jeff Tomwinski, myself, and the whole Hard Rocket Sports show, we say thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. Hefe, have a great night, pal. Talk to you off the air.
Later, man. Be good.
Later, man.